Facebook, we are on.
Quickly check.
YouTube, we are on. Yeah, we can share some links if we want, but yeah, otherwise we're good to go. Oh, I can see. How is it in Ranchi, man? Is it raining? It's been raining
Yeah,
here.
it's been raining heavily like last 2 days.
Same, yeah.
Like it's gotten a little colder now because of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rain.
Same actually here also.
It's
Non-stop
pouring
rain.
crazy over
We
here.
had
The weather.
lockdown since we had 2 days of lockdown.
Okay,
So it
so that's
became
still going on.
full chill weather, chill
Hmm.
season, no work.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there's
This
no
heat.
lockdown on this side, man. Like
Mm,
uh, business as usual. Like cases are
yeah.
going
But
up, but it's like
are people careful and like cautious?
some of them are.
Some of them.
I wouldn't say everyone is like too
I,
afraid of COVID.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
all sorts of conspiracy theories going on,
yeah,
who
yeah,
started COVID and all that stuff.
yeah. Yeah. I think it's come to that point now. Everyone's just like either now there this whole anti-maskers are full on.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. And then all this conspiracy that COVID is bullshit, this, that. It's
I saw a video of anti-maskers. They are in India also now. Like this
yeah,
is an American thing, right? But recently it's gotten to India too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no words for them. I mean, like what? You can study
If you've
science.
seen the video, it's like
And I mean, what does it take for people to believe it? Do you have to get it close? Does it have to come to your family and friends for you to actually believe
yeah,
it?
yeah,
That,
yeah. That's the thing though. People don't accept it because it's like happening far off. It's just statistics to most people.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's where the problem is, I think. It's all these numbers, all this data is coming in, and we are like, we sort of don't really look at them as these are human figures. They just become numbers, and it's like the numbers can't be this high, must be a lie, must be a conspiracy or some shit.
That's, I mean, I understand the skepticism to believe it, but like,
Yeah.
uh, if you see the
But
number
being
of,
so sure about it is
I
the tricky part. Like
know,
why? How are
so
you so
confident,
sure about it? Yeah.
so confident. I'll wear a mask and go out and I won't get sick. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
even if you're slightly skeptical, just wear a mask, just be safe. That's it. It's
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you
It's
should
for
have.
your own good at the end of the day. Like it's you who are going to be safe. It's your family and friends who are going
Mm,
to be safer when they are around you and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
man, it's
I
crazy.
think
Also,
yeah, this coronavirus chat has become. I mean, after a point, it just becomes like, oh man, can we talk about something else? Because
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much confusion. Every day there's new things happening. People are left in the dark, and everyone's trying their own shit. No mask, this mask, crowded place, whatever.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll
and I love Wuhan out of all of this is like, whoa, let's
full on, full
party.
on,
It's
full on.
like, let's go.
And Wuhan of all the places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we've just messed up the whole world, but let's party.
But
What
you
do you
never know,
think?
right? You never really know,
Oh,
like whatever info is coming out of China, you never really know like how much of it is like orchestrated and how much
Yeah,
of it is like real news.
of course.
even as a even just to put this news out, right? I would imagine if I was the media head of the Communist Party of China, I'd be like, first thing, shut this down. I don't want the world to think that we are partying.
We
When the
are all okay. It's
whole
on you guys now.
Or maybe they're just having fun. Like, hey guys, look, we're partying. Fuck you.
I was like, this is unbelievable. This is
So
unbelievable.
like we were saying, no, this could be the third world war. I think it's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, this feels like this new age World War tactic. You just
but with
screw
a
up
little bit of
economy.
fun added to it.
Exactly.
That we
Hmm.
will
Oh,
party and screw you guys.
but but and the surprising part also is that the countries most affected are all the ones that China has some sort of like competition with in some area or the other,
Yeah.
right? So like it's like gone and wiped out the competition and is partying. That's the best part. I just love
Yeah.
that. That's
No,
confidence.
Yeah.
time for conspiracies, actually. This is the perfect time. You can
Yeah.
make so many of them.
But
Even the whole thing about aliens was verified by Pentagon, right? But like
Yeah.
people
oh,
don't really
sorry,
care about that.
Hey,
I
that
think I missed that one. I
yeah.
think I missed that one. Can you tell me what this is, please?
What
Like there
happened?
was this UFO footage from I
Ah,
think like 10 years ago that everybody thought was just edited and animated or some shit. But Pentagon recently verified that it was an actual UFO.
yeah.
But it
And
didn't really make headlines or
no one,
anything.
yeah, no one gave a fuck about that. Like
People were just like, yeah, we knew, like move on now.
aliens, ठीक है कोई बात
दोस्त बना लेंगे क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
Jadoo, jadoo.
Yes, Jadoo, that is
We're
it.
all good. We just need to send Hrithik Roshan and we're all sorted then.
And we need to play that bom, bom, bom,
Yeah,
bom.
yeah.
Just shoot it out in space for everybody to listen to it.
even that they've copied from a old song.
Oh,
Oh, that's
was
a
it?
song. That's an actual song.
Yeah, this even that
Oh.
tone, this shit. How can I forget the name of the song? It's a
Is it a Russian song?
no, dude. Let me
It
find.
sounds very Russian.
Anyway,
That's
uh,
all that. Like, remember, like how there are people who believe that the Om is the cosmic sound of the universe. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I was like that. Can you please get real? I know it's a
Yeah.
beautiful sound. It makes you feel great within when you say it, but it cannot be the sound
That's what
captured
most
by.
of this thing is, like people just sort of romanticize something very innocent to an extent where it's like dangerous. Like it all starts with a very innocent idea, right? And then more and more people hear about it. It just keeps on like a snowball effect, From this innocent little idea, it turns into something very destructive to where you have that actress. What was her name? Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
yeah,
She has this whole company based on like fake Ayurveda or some stuff like that, where they're just like selling random products and it's supposed to help you reach enlightenment and all that stuff.
Goop sells candles, one candle for $80 or $100. And there was
Yeah.
one she released called Smells Like My Vagina or something like that.
Yeah. And I thought that was like an Onion article or something, but that was real. Like she
That
was
was real.
actually
And
doing
it
it.
sold out in 3 hours or some rubbish like this. I was like, why would anyone want their room to smell like your vagina? Please. Girl, come on. Let's get real. Let's get real. Can
But
you
that's the
please?
thing though. Can you like blame her though? People bought it in 3 hours, right? It's like, do you blame her?
So Goop has this really nice series on Netflix though. Oh,
Okay.
is this the one? Is this Popo Popo?
so you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Libby.
Okay. Shit. Sorry, my bad. Anyway,
No,
okay.
fine.
Now I was trying to find that tune actually, and I thought
Oh.
my
That
share is
wasn't the
not on.
tune.
No, that wasn't the tune.
Okay.
But it is there somewhere. We'll find it in between. Should we jump into some
We can.
fun
We should.
stuff? Mhm.
Yes.
So we want to talk about obviously your release,
Okay.
but before that, little bit of your backstory would be interesting. I think there has been there recently there have been some interesting coverage that you've been getting on Vice. Vice I think happened before as well.
Yeah.
So just for people to know, how did you get into production?
I mean, I've been in it since like I was in school, like it started as just as a vague interest. So I was drumming for a lot of bands in Ranchi, and the space in Ranchi is very much occupied with hard rock and heavy metal. I was into it, but then I felt like there is something that I haven't found yet. Like, not exactly, I couldn't really verbalize it so well back then, but I knew there was something still out there sonically that I wanted. And that's when eventually like I started listening to hip hop, and eventually like I studied it, found out there are no rules in this. This is that one genre. Heavy metal has a lot of rules. At least when I knew it. I know now that there's a lot of subgenres and whatnot, but like
Yeah.
we didn't have a lot of room to experiment. Plus, it was like 5, 6 guys in every band, so there's that many ideas and that many conflicts.
Hmm.
So I got this software that I still use, FL Studio, and
Oh, I love
yeah,
it.
I mean, I just stuck to it. I liked it. I was
Yeah.
just alone in my room and just making whatever I wanted to make, you know?
It's still the only software I know how to use and make music with.
Yeah. I know different softwares now. I can make stuff on Ableton, Logic, Cubase a little bit, but I just like it better. Like it
Mm.
gets me to where I want to go instantly, you know? Like what might take me a longer time in some other software.
So I've
Right.
always known of you as a rapper, and now with this new album, I feel you've gone more into production and more as a producer.
Yeah,
Would that be accurate to say that, or
yeah,
and
definitely.
and how did that like?
Because I've always been into production, you know?
Ah,
But
exactly.
like when I was new to the rap scene of India, I was like, okay, let me find some rappers to collaborate with. And I moved to Bangalore for my college, and that's where a lot of rappers were. And I was like going through these rappers, and I was like, okay, I can't really find a rapper that would like fit on the production. So
Hmm.
that's when I started writing, and eventually, like after maybe a year or two, I was like pretty confident in my writing, and that's when I started rapping. But it's
Nice.
always been like music as a whole. Like it doesn't matter if I'm a producer on a song or a rapper or a keyboardist. Like I just want to be involved with music in general, or just an engineer. Lately, I'm doing a lot of projects just as an engineer. I'm not playing one instrument on these projects, but I'm still having fun because it's these frequencies that I really care about. It doesn't matter what instrument it is, you know?
Mm.
But with engineering, I mean, with sound engineering, you play such a critical role because you choose what you hear, right? Like
Yeah,
you'll have a bunch of instruments and like music, and then you have to make it
yeah,
sound good at the end
yeah,
of the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Which I think
yeah.
is the craziest part of the job. I think
Yeah, it's
there's
the
a lot of
most
pressure.
difficult one, I think. It's the one I had the most trouble with too. Like the learning curve is also steep. I mean, but then again, if you're trying to like for example, if you're trying to master violin or guitar or just one instrument, then that's going to be quite a learning curve too, you know?
Yeah,
But like I don't really master any instrument. I learn the basics and then I move on to the next one. So it was still a little easier for me, the production side. The engineering, you can't really take shortcuts like that. Like
you
you have
can.
to understand this stuff. There are no shortcuts in engineering. So yeah,
That's fair.
I'm
That's
still
fair.
learning. Like engineering, I'm still not too confident with because it's like every year I learn new shit and it's like, wow, that last year mix was so bad. I shouldn't have released it, you know? Keep having self-doubt.
I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure you're just saying this. Please.
No,
Hello.
seriously, like engineering is that one thing that I think it's just like never ending, you know, because each in this engineering is also very much based upon different venues, different types of audiences, like what are they hearing, what earphones is the audience. So it's like no matter how much I learn engineering, next year the whole thing is going to be new. I have
Yeah.
to start from scratch again, you know.
Also, a
That's
lot with this I've seen with a lot of producers because they're like there's a learning curve and they obviously get better and better, and they always feel that oh that music we released 4 years back, man, shit,
Yeah,
it's not as tight as how it is.
yeah.
But I think it's natural, right? It's with anything that you do, like you
Yeah. I
learn, you get
definitely don't
better.
regret releasing anything. It's
Yeah,
just that, okay, I could have done that little thing better there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, for
not like,
sure,
I shouldn't have released it at all, you
at
know,
all.
because it's still like an expression of who I am at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like cutting your own finger off. Like, I can't say that. I'm
Hmm.
just trying to say I should have, like, you know, made some tweaks here and there that would have made the whole listening experience a little better.
Yeah, for sure. And nowadays, do you also, um, like for engineers, do they have to keep in mind that people are listening to music on phones and
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Chinese headphones or whatever?
Yeah. I have, I think, four earphones, which are all
Ah,
under 150 bucks.
ah,
Those are like my testing devices. And then I move on to these earphones,
hmm,
which are again earphones, not headphones. So they are better than those earphones, but not as good as a headphone. Then
right.
there's the headphone, and then there's the final car test. All this
Ah,
is after the speakers in the studio, you know?
yes.
Like first the stuff has to get approved from the studio speakers.
Yeah.
And the last one will have to be the car, of course, because that's like the most important bit. A lot
Yeah.
of times you're very proud of your mix, and then you sit in the car and it's like, wow, we need to restart the song.
Right.
Who I think Arijit's also told me this. BC Azad was the first one to tell me about like car testing being super important for artists. And
Yeah.
till then I hadn't thought about it, but then I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially if you're making the kind of music that him and I make, because it's like it's supposed to be you're supposed to be listening to it in the car. So it's like, I mean, ideally, not like you have to listen to it in a car, but ideally that's the spot, right? But if I'm mixing classical music, I probably wouldn't be too worried about how it sounds in the car. It's just that the stuff that we are doing is like,
Yeah.
I think, crucial.
So
listening to like Beethoven when you're driving is fun. Huh? I'm just letting you know. You're like,
Could be.
you have
I've,
no
I've
patience
heard,
for
I've heard Niladri Kumar while we were driving, and that was a drive.
I remember Neil was telling me that Meeti does this. He mixes it on final mixing like he does on the Mac speakers because he's so used to that sound, so he knows how to balance a particular song on a Mac speaker, like a laptop speaker.
Miti also helped me mix one of my songs at Vedic Village when we were there.
Right.
And like all the bands are practicing in the other room, we just came into this other room and I had these Sony headphones, like really shitty headphones. And he helped me mix my stuff on those headphones.
Right.
And that was like, because he didn't really understand FL Studio. So that was also quite a process. He would listen to stuff and then he'll give me the headphone. It's like, reduce that and like increase that. And then he'll take the headphones. Okay, you reduced the wrong thing. So it was quite a process,
Interesting.
But this is in stark contrast to what I've heard. Like I was talking to somebody else who's a sound engineer, and he was saying he has the most expensive. I think he paid $1.5 lakh for some headphones, which are absolutely flat.
Yeah.
They like a lot of people also use that, but when you think about it, it makes so much more sense to use what people are actually listening to it on versus
definitely.
something like that.
I think with like any other thing, it's like you get caught up in the marketing gimmicks. Then, I mean, we are not immune to it. Just because you're an engineer, you're still a person. You're still going to be immune. Like these marketing gimmicks are hitting right at your insecurities, like your mix sucks because you're not really listening to your mix. You need these headphones. Only these will tell you the truth. But that's not, I've seen so many great musicians who don't really buy into the hype. And I learned that very early,
That's amazing. I
don't
actually
really
really
need
appreciate
fancy
that.
equipments at all. You just need efficient stuff, You don't need cheap stuff. You don't need it. The price is not relevant,
Yeah. And then it also makes it more accessible to people. I've seen a lot of people, they keep waiting, oh, one day I'll save up money, I'll buy these speakers, I'll buy this thing, and then I'll start producing. And then sometimes that just takes too much time because of circumstances.
Have you heard of this thing, toolbox fallacy?
No.
So that's what like they label it, toolbox fallacy, like I just don't have this equipment in my toolbox. Otherwise I would have just done it right now, And you always have that hole in your toolbox. It never gets filled. You just need that one new equipment and you're sorted.
Yeah.
But like how you have movies of like different qualities, like people get the 4K and you have the 1080p and you have the 720. I wonder if that is also going to happen to music at some point where you have different qualities in music.
Yeah, that does happen. That's already there.
It's already there? Okay.
Yeah. Like Spotify, the free version of Spotify will let you play songs at, I think, 256 kbps MP3. And if you pay for it, then you get to hear the WAV version. WAV version is the one we submit to these platforms.
Right.
But most of the time, the audience is listening to MP3 versions because they are listening to it for free. So a lot of time you'll see that if you pay for a streaming service and if you don't, then there's a stark difference in the quality of the music.
Then there's also like the title that's come up with even higher quality, right?
Yeah. They claim that. I haven't really tested it out. Because again, like with these things, there has to be an audience base for even the artist to be interested in it.
Yeah,
Spotify has sort of a monopoly on this thing. So everybody just mixes their stuff according to Spotify. like Spotify brings their own rules, so you have to like follow their rules. A lot of engineers get caught up in that also.
Yeah.
I mean, even I did for a while. Spotify laid out its rule that your songs have to be this loud, this setting, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But don't they level it out anyway? Because I remember that's what they would do with Savan. Like they'd say you have to submit in 320,
Exactly.
right? That's what they ask for, and then all these requirements and Wave and all of that. And then it gets compressed across the platform.
Yeah, exactly. So what they do is basically just turning the fader down. So it's like my stuff is too loud for them. They'll just like turn it down by just how you turn down the volume on your TV. That's as simple as it is. But in engineering circuits, there were like a lot of rumors that they actually compress the audio down, so it reduces your quality. So you might as well submit the songs at their level so that they don't actually do any adjustments.
Yeah.
But it's all just rumors and
conspiracy
theories and overcomplicating things.
Industry gossip.
Yeah. These are the masala for engineers, These are the things.
So I think let's play a song.
Yes, do that.
What should we start with?
Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy.
Let's go with Wonder Boy. Yeah.
Okay. So for all of you who haven't heard, this is a brand new song video we just released. So who's playing? Am I sharing it?
I can do it. I have it here.
Okay. So Dansa is going to share it. Shout out to Arindam for making this killer video. And I think the whole process of making this video was so, satisfying, I would say. Just one frame at a time he would send us, and then we would see and we would get excited. Ooh, can we change his dhoti? Can we change his clothes into this? It was really fun.
Nishit, you'll have to make me the host for one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No,
host.
Don't apologize. I can now. Give me 1 second. Your continual. Because English.
Continual. We shall continue.
Because English. Yas.
Mhm.
Yas. That's a beautiful one.
What a song, no? When he first sent
Such
it,
a lovely song.
Thank you.
it was like when it started off, obviously, okay, something is gonna happen, and suddenly when the beat comes in, like, woo, okay, it was,
Yes.
yeah, it is really, uh, when it was really, really something. When I heard it first time and I shared it with the team, also, they were all like, wow, this is really something.
I love that little red panda, red
Mm.
fox. I don't know what you call them.
Red
One
Panda.
of red pandas. But they look like red fox. I don't know why they're not called red fox. This has always been a bone of contention. The red panda. So cute and such a smart idea for a video as well. Really beautiful. Beautiful one. Beautiful one. And it's got this Asian-y kind
Yeah,
of vibe going on. That's really cool.
yeah. That was the goal. Yeah.
How did you,
We
what
wanted
made you?
to base it off all on Meghalaya, like because I'd gone there last year and there was this place, non-Greek, and that's
Mhm.
where like I was like, okay, I need to shoot a video here someday. And then, like Corona happened and we are making this video. So I was like, okay, we need to base it on a place, then let's do it on non-Greek art. I think we can come up with a sweet little story just just based around that place and like making our protagonists belong to this world, rather than just following a protagonist, make the location also like as important. I think that's why the video also like stuck with a lot of people, because it's not just Wonder Boy himself. The place itself makes it all look very beautiful,
Yeah.
and not beautiful exactly in a fantasy type of way, but a very realish fantasy, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And the
Because
anime.
all those pictures that are animated are like from real pictures that I had taken on the trip.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing. That's
Mm.
really cool.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Sorry, where did you say this place was again? Can you tell me?
This is in Meghalaya, non-Griat. It's a
Oh,
village.
oh, nice. Very nice. And that's, but
Yeah,
I want to also ask you musically, the Asian little beats and stuff that you've added in the little music, the Asian vibe.
yeah, yeah,
How did that come to you? Is that from
yeah.
traveling
The flute.
or the flute? Yes, the right word, the right instrument.
Thing.
I,
So
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. Like, there's a bit of a lag on my side.
yeah.
no problem. I was just saying that. How did you decide to pick up on this flute and kind of build the piece? Was the song built around the flute, or did the flute come later? Oopsies.
I'm sorry. I still can't really make out. Is it my network
I
or
think so.
I'm on Wi-Fi, so should be fine.
Because both of us are fine.
Wait, let me
Okay,
ask you.
okay. Let me just switch
Yeah.
to data. I'll just switch my connection to data. So
Okay.
give me 1 sec, yeah.
Huh. No problem.
Huh.
I think he's going to be. I wanted to ask him about the song, how it started.
Hmm.
Was it
The
totally?
process was very interesting. So he was sending us these photographs from his trips, and then we were sending it to Arindam, who's the animator, and then we were like, don't obviously like copy it, but this is an inspiration of all, like a combination of all these pictures is your land that we are looking at creating.
Nice.
And he
Beautiful.
beautifully, how he put it all together. It really came out really nicely. I mean, even the first few uh, samples he sent us with those color palettes and all, like, oh wow, so
And it's
cool.
also the anime style, na? He's put
Yeah,
this. It just works all perfectly with the flute and
yeah,
everything. Really
yeah,
nicely.
yeah,
Very, very lovely. Should we play some music while
yeah.
he sets up? We'll play
That's a
another
good
song
idea.
of it.
Let's play another song from. You want to play it from the EP?
From the EP. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which
Then pick
song should we go with?
anything you pick.
I can play the next song over there,
Hmm.
which is
Okay.
Oh yeah, cool.
So sorry, guys.
No
No,
problem.
no,
We're
not at
just
all.
playing another
Is it
song.
all fine? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Can,
you.
can.
Okay. Yeah. I can hear you guys. Sorted.
So we're playing
So
another song.
Okay.
While
from the EP, and
or
then
this,
should we do that?
we're putting a small little video out for this song next.
Ooh, nice,
Uh,
nice. I'm gonna play this fella.
Come on. I mean, this is such a great song. Yeah.
Yes, this one hits differently. It's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very different vibe.
That's the thing also with this entire EP, the sounds, actually there's no connection really, and that's also interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's true.
Like
So
my last tape that I dropped like in March, that was like very heavy on the concepts and themes and like it's got a lot of layers and the layers for this one I just wanted to like let loose, like have a bunch of like songs that aren't really related to each other, but they have that punch in common,
yeah.
like all these songs kick. They like sort of faint you in a illusion of safety, like it's all good, and then the kick comes in. That's like the only common factor, that to buy a bit of a stretch. But that's about it. I just wanted to, like we were discussing
Yeah.
that day in Nishid,
Yeah.
like music just for the sake of music. Like there's no agenda attached to it. Like
Yeah.
you draw meanings from it, then that's cool too.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I really like that bit. In fact, when we were discussing and we were planning the promotions and all, we were thinking, should we? Because the Wonder Boy does have this thing about this underdog, and you know how about bullying. So was speaking to Treyas and he was saying maybe it will be a good message to put out. So he said, you know, it's for people to decide what they want to take from it, and I want to do music. I just want to put music out, and I really like that. You know, that okay. And I don't think I did counter that at all. I said, okay, that's it. I like this.
I think I've heard some people point that out though, that it's a wonderful story about how the underdog gets back at the bullies, you know. So a lot of people are like grabbing to that.
That is great. Yeah.
We love underdogs in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just love underdog stories in life.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it's a great way to. It's a great even as a thought to put out, and just the pairing of. I'll tell you what I liked about it. Even though it's an underdog story, it has an animal as the partner. I love that element. For me, that is just amazing because again,
Yeah.
like right now with whatever we're going through in life, I feel like we need to be more connected with nature, and that's something that really sticks out to me from that video. You know, at the
Yeah.
end of the day,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just drawing like reading it too much, but I feel like
You can
that's
never
something.
read it too much unless you're like drawing some anti-masker conspiracy theories from my videos. Then as long as you don't do that, like we're all good.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Chale.
Amazing.
Oh, tell me how you just went about like making each and every song for this album because, like you said, different vibes and were they made all together around the same time or
No,
have
not
they?
at all, not at all. Like Druk was like the first song of it, and that was made like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And like that was, I was planning to send it out to a different rapper, and that album was like also taking long, and I think that album is finally going to come out in 2021, mid 2021. So it's like I have this extra beat, so I was like, okay, I have a lot of beats like this, you know, that never made it to any project, either mine or somebody else's, but they are still like really good beats. So what do I do with them? And that's when I was like, okay, I need to drop a beat tape. I need to drop a beat tape. I've been doing this for 2 years and I never ended up dropping a beat tape. And
Mm.
now it was like a lot of people would say it's like too soon to drop. I just have a project in March, you know, like artists have this thing. We have to promote it. We have to DM it to everyone. We call this the cycle, you know, and then you drop your next tape next year. It's like I'm like ready to do it right now. Let's just do it. Otherwise, I'll probably never do it, you know. And
Mm.
Wonder Boy, I think, is the only song that I made for this one. Uh, yeah, Wonder Boy was really the only song that was made for this. And
Okay.
Open White, the last
Okay.
track with Decipher. Because Decipher and I had been like wanting to collab from a long time, but I could never find an idea to use his beatboxing. Because a lot of people use beatboxing like the traditional way, you know, like he does his beatbox, I come and rap over it, and that's the end of the song. I was like, okay, that's been done for like 30 years now. Even though it's like a new thing for India, like
But yeah.
globally, that's been done for 30 years now. Like maybe we can
Yeah.
try to use beatbox in a new way. And that's when like I just, you know, it's like one of those things. I just had a random eureka moment at midnight. I was like, I'm just gonna put Mellow Turtle, let him run wild on the guitar, because usually when we are having these sessions, he has certain limitations in terms of what he can do to the guitar, because a singer is gonna be there. So like there's a lot of things to take account of. I was like,
Mm.
I'll just let them both do their own thing, you know, at the end of the song. I'm only playing a bass over there, I think, and there's a synth also in that part. But yeah, most of it is just Mellow and Decipher showing off what they can do with their preferred instruments. You know, it's just a show off
Solid.
moment for both of these guys.
Solid. Because even I was listening to the album, I heard the Kanika Kapoor.
Yeah. That was also fairly recent. That was made
Type.
during the whole Thali Bajao thing that was going on during the lockdown. So like
Yeah.
I had posted a picture on my Instagram that of my audio recorder, the field recorder, and my mask, the Corona mask, that maybe I'll just go out and record all these people banging their thalis. And a lot of people were like, yeah, do that. Okay. And then tomorrow, then the next day, I go out and it's like nothing like any of us would have expected, right? Like none of us anticipated it to be like that huge. Like it was loud. Like it was like Diwali, right? It was acoustic Diwali.
Yeah.
That's how it was. And like I got such nice samples. I was like, okay, I have to use them. All these people banging their thalis, they're like police sirens going by, So it was a very nice composition that was like already there for me. I just had to like break down the sample a bit. I didn't really do much to the sample. It was just like basic filtering and stuff. And that was done. I think that beat took me like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like, the whole from composition to engineering, it was all done in 20 minutes.
Damn, son. I remember this thali incident because I was staring out my window and there's a building opposite, and all of them were banging their thalis, and this poor cat was like terrified on one of the windows, perched on one thing, staring at the thalis, like wondering what are your crazy people doing, like all the birds were flying, like help, get out of here. Like all the animals were terrified. So it's very shrill sound also, right? All these noises you're making.
Yeah.
All the humans were
As
enjoying
a producer, that's what you like, If you
It's
like
true.
percussions, then thali is the best one. I've been sampling thali from a long time. So I was like, okay, this is someone else's thali for a change, Let me sample their thalis today.
And many thalis.
Many thalis, but how did you not make, like, it was Besura. Let me just be honest. It was Besura outside my window. So I don't know how you made
But that's what I'm
something.
saying. It wasn't.
Oh.
Like the recording that I got, I didn't really have to adjust the pitching of it. I adjusted it to like fit the song in terms of like time stretching and all that stuff. But the pitch of the sample is as I recorded it. It just came out like that. Like it was just ready.
Okay, that means your neighbors are very talented thali players. That's all I can say. Because if you heard the shit that was going on outside my windows, no chance. You would have made no chance. Would have taken 20 minutes to make a beautiful song.
No pitch, no rhythm, nothing.
Your cat was like standing there, like terrified, staring at everybody. On that note, I
just got lucky,
We should play this,
Just got lucky. I think the charm was the police siren. I don't know if people can hear the police siren in the song, but like that adds like a tiny bit of harmony to the thalis, and that's what completes the whole thing.
That's fantastic. I want to play this now. Everybody needs to get into this. There we go. That was another one. Something else played there for a second.
Yeah. That was your
that was a different project.
Default
Oopsies. Spotify. So now is Kanika Kapoor type beat. That's a very catchy name also, which I have to ask you about after we play this. But I'm going to come to that.
change how the world thinks of cinema.
Oops. This is a short song, so
Yeah. I was trying to keep a lot of songs short, but with Open Wide, I just couldn't cut it up. That's like the longest song I think on the tape.
yeah.
But it was fitting because it was the last track, so I was like, let it be now.
So, Tansa wanted to know why you named it Kanika Kapoor type beats.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that name come, dude?
I mean, that was around the time when the whole incident happened, right, with Kanika Kapoor. And I was like, okay, like this is the circumstance I made the beat in. Who's a better representative of the times we live in? Like Kanika Kapoor.
And not Go Karna Go. That was a good choice.
Because everybody was doing that, right? There was already the Go Corona Go challenge going on. I was like, no, I won't participate in this challenge, And at the beat was done, okay, you know what? There's only one thing that can fit in this spot. So that was done way later. I think like maybe like a week after I made the beat. That wasn't in the original version, the Go Corona Go thing. So I was like, I'm naming it Kanika Kapoor type beat anyway, so I might as well add this thing in there. Just so others also like get the context, just in case they miss it.
I just remembered the whole Go Karna Go video and those really intelligent people who thought singing and clapping to them would make the virus go
He has follow-up video though, the same guy. He had a follow-up video.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Shit, I missed it.
You guys haven't seen this, right? That's the gold. A lot of people have missed out on the second video, but that's the one you need to watch. Because in that one, the guy is acknowledging his newfound fame. He still doesn't understand that it's a meme. He thinks people are genuinely like a big fan of him, and that's why everyone's sampling him, everyone's sharing these memes. and the guy was over the moon, he was happy. He was glad he's viral now.
It's a boomer thing. It's such a boomer thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so sweet.
Let him live in his bubble. Enjoy this moment of glory.
This is true. So which was the next song after that you worked on? After Juke was the first one you said, and then...
Yeah. After that, I think after a long gap, I think this year I worked on Showtime at Prithvi. That was the next one.
That's really fun. And
that
again,
was also like supposed to be for a different project, but I was gonna make a old Bollywood inspired beat tape. Like I was planning for two different beat tapes. One would be all bangers like Wonder Boy and Druk and all these songs where the influences are a little more Western. And then have one of where it's all like Indian Bollywood stuff, Bollywood that I liked, that we don't really get anymore. So,
which is what?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the shit, I'm forgetting their names.
Just name. Like
Anandji. There was a composer back in 70s. So this was a brother duo, and they used to make some of the best music in the world at that time. And they were part of Bollywood. They were making these what you might call now acid music, acid house. A lot of this stuff, they were doing it with Amitabh Bachchan.
Right.
And it was you guys have heard the Dawn theme, right?
Yeah.
That's these guys. And you listen to the synth on Dawn. It's so different from anything that Bollywood was on. Bollywood was on that, tabla and sitar vibe. And these guys were like, you know what, let's plug in all our instruments. Let's see what we can do when there aren't the limitations that you find when you're dealing with actual session players, I mean, they were still getting session players to play these things, but there were a lot of modulations that was electronic based that wasn't really done in Bollywood that much. So I was like, okay, I want to do what these guys are doing, but like in a modern format. And I ended up making, I think, 4 songs for that beat tape before I ended up losing all my data, and I lost 2 albums in that one, and one of them was this Bollywood beat tape. I was like, okay, let me recreate, because I remembered one of those beats, the one that was going to be the lead single, by heart. So I was like, let me remake this thing. And that was the one I remembered in the better than all the other tracks, and I still couldn't recreate it. It was just one of those things, just because you remember doesn't mean that it's actually going to happen. So I gave up on that project, and I was like, one night I was like, let me just try to make something for that project from scratch. And that's how Showtime at Prithvi happened. And I kind of like wasn't that interested in that idea after making this song. I liked the song, but I was like, I don't want to do 5 more of these now, because I've lost that data. So there's already that hole. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to revisit all that. So I was like, I have this one solid song. Let's stick to this.
But what you mentioned about how it's so in the moment, right? Like when you're making
Yeah.
music, it's all like your headspace and your creative space and all of that comes together, and it's very hard to recreate something then once. And that's a challenge also. I'm sure there will be a point again where you will make something close to that again. You will be in that space and it will happen. But it's quite surprising when you think about how momentary that creative process is, right? It's how just you're completely in that one nanosecond. It's quite bizarre and beautiful. And when
you can't really plan it, right? Because it's like it's just energies, the energy is in your room, you catch it, then good. You miss it, then okay, try it the next day, because it's like if I make 3 good beats in a day, right? I start feeling very good. Like, wow, look at me. I really know how to do this music thing. But it's like at the end of the day, I really don't. There was an energy in the room. I was lucky enough to catch it. Because that's how all this stuff happens, right? Where you listen to fans really worship their favorite artists. It's like, don't chase the artist. Like he just got lucky, like the main thing is the stuff that we are creating. So it's like anyone else could have made Showtime at Prithvi. I was just lucky enough to like catch the energy while it was with me, And you really can't plan this stuff, man. Like I see a lot of newer artists panicking about this stuff. Like, they want to have like 5-year plans of their career and all that stuff, but that's hard. This is not the feel for it,
Right. And this is another interesting thing I like about Reyes. And from the first time I met you at the masterclass at Vedic Kili, I was like, okay, this boy is little more evolved for his age, and the kind of music he does. I mean, you kind of put people in a box, right? So if a younger person is making music, you expect a certain vibe.
Yeah.
So when I heard the kind of stuff you were doing, and I remember during even classes that were going on, you were always on your laptop, and immediately you would come up with something, and immediately you'll collaborate with something. Always ready. I'm like, oh, this guy, and they had actually made a track right after the thing, and I think everyone was quite impressed by what he was doing. And so this is really what I think stayed with me as well. So every time I connect with him, and he sends me these music, and I hear, and I always think like, this guy really, I mean, it's really interesting for me to see that this guy has this maturity already. And I think most people have noticed that about you.
I'm really lucky, man, because again, like,
yeah, you could be lucky.
It's just one of those things where you're like, if there's only one thing that I'm good at, so I might as well stick to it, and like give it everything.
For sure.
That's a very good thought. That's a very, when you said this thing about energies and all, I remember because I had the same conversation with Nishit, and I was telling him, I had this idea so I also do a lot of writing work, and so I was just writing something, and I had an idea for a story and something, and then I was telling someone about it, and they were like, "Listen, just start it right now, because believe it or not, there are like 6-7 billion people on this planet. You're not the only one who has this idea.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. That's the thing.
Put it down right now, because it can float away from you, and it can float in so many other people's mind, because as much as we like to believe it, we are not as unique. I don't think it's possible to be as unique when there's 7 billion of us on this planet.
None of us are.
Yeah.
Collective experience to go through. I mean, so then the idea is, I think if you are able to produce and capture this energy and do it, fantastic. Just keep going at it and don't listen to all these people who say you need to about the whole path of releasing albums. I think it works like that for a very curated kind of musician. You know, if somebody wants to have a very definitive path where they say, "Acha, this works for me," you know,
Yeah.
that one album and then taking a break and then another album.
Yeah,
It's a
everyone
very-
has their own.
exactly. Everyone has their own journey.
Yeah.
So it's if yours is releasing 4 albums a year, thank God, good for us. I say
I'm
good
glad.
for
I'm
us.
glad. But you know, that's the thing. I feel like every musician would prefer it that way because it's like I have an idea, I can get it down. A lot of times, it's not the musician that's taking that call. It's a lot of other people around them that are telling them that this is the plan, this is the way to go ahead. And they have to listen to the producer, they have to listen to the agent, the manager, the label. There's a lot of stuff to deal with.
Yeah.
So I still have to deal with other people on the business side because that's one thing that I don't really understand as well. I would like to. But on the music side, it's only me in the room, you know? That's the best thing about being your own producer and engineer because it's not like I write a song and then I record it and then I complete the beat and then I send it for engineering. All of those things are happening in the same day at the same time. Like I'm writing and I'm thinking, you know what, my voice on this particular sentence should have this effect. So I'll just write it down on a different page. Like that's my engineering notes, you know? And then if I'm writing and I'm feeling, you know, the beat needs to switch up at this point of time because my writing is going a little off the topic from what we started. So either I have to change my writing or I have to change the beat. Most of the time I change the beat. But I have the freedom to do it. And it all can be done before I have my breakfast, you know, because it's all me. There's nobody else I need to discuss this with. So I feel like a lot of artists are afraid of producing and engineering because, again, learning curve. But I feel like the reward are like, it's just too good, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
I
fair.
totally
Too
agree.
good.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Totally agree with you.
Should we play another song then?
Yeah. Let's play another song.
Which one would you like us to play?
I think let's play Open Wide, the Cypher, Mellow Turtle.
Come on.
Let's do that. And
Do you keep making the same kind of film? But if you're a
You've
person
gone
like
way ahead.
Rosalie, what do you do when you
Yeah.
change how the world thinks of cinema? What's next, I mean? Do you keep making the same kind of film? But if you're a person like Rosalie, you try something new. Push further, not just for experiment's sake, but to push the boundaries further. They don't look like the other films at all. There's a great intimacy about them. For example,
Journey to Italy.
wonderful sequence where Cassandra comes home late, comes back to the hotel late, and she pretends to be asleep. And you watch all the
Turns
details.
on the light.
He turns on the light, he opens the door, all this going on just so they can avoid seeing each other. So they finally have to acknowledge each other.
Yes? What is it?
I just want to make sure it was you.
What are you thinking about?
I was sound asleep. I had so much sun in there today that I was that tired. I fell asleep almost immediately.
Everything is done with this very
Personal
personally.
taste. They were almost like letters to each other in a way.
Another amazing one.
Yeah.
Amazing one. Amazing.
Has all the feels.
Anna,
Yeah.
this is true. So tell us a little about Mellow Turtle and Decipher. Decipher, right?
Yeah.
Just
Uh,
how did you meet them? How did that happen? How did you start working with them?
Mello, I've known for a long time because like he was like the only other musician in Jharkhand who was like trying to sort of make his own music, you know. He's a blues artist. I mean, he was at that time, now he's into everything. But at that time he was working on a blues project,
Oh,
and
hey.
we used to go to the same studio. This is when I didn't produce, so like I was still working, or I think I did start production at that time, but I wasn't too good at it. So I was like still going to a different studio, and that's where we met
Hmm.
because I was just blown away. I never thought anyone would be playing blues in Rachi, and this guy has a whole EP. So I was like, okay, we need to work together.
I have
And
to go
yeah,
check.
and ever since then, like we've been working together, and he's like a very good, he's the closest friend, so it's not really about the music so much. It's like I want him to be on every project, even if he just comes and whispers in the first second and fucks off. Like he's a nice presence to have.
That's so nice. That have your. I'm sure also that has his influences have come in your music and yours in
Definitely,
his.
definitely. Like in music and our personal lives, like everything. It's just one of those things. You meet one outcast meets another one, and it's like, okay, we can do this. So it's been a
Outcast
beautiful
together.
journey. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. And what about Decipher?
The Cypher also I've known for a long time, but like he lives in Mumbai, so we never had a chance to collab, like I mentioned it to you earlier.
Ah.
So yeah, for this one, I just wanted to flip the script. Beatbox is always like the secondary thing to a rapper. Like the rapper is in the spotlight, and beatboxing is sort of just going in the background. Sometimes you pay attention to it, sometimes you don't. But if you, I just wanted to flip that, and because there is no vocal on the project anyways, and there are no featured artists, I was like, okay, this is the perfect moment to bring you in. And I told him the idea. I don't know what he was expecting. I told him the idea, and he's like, okay, that's something new. And then I think we made like 2, 3 different patterns, and that was the one we finalized on. And then we brought in Mello, and yeah, Mello just did that in like 10, 15 minutes. That was done.
Mhm.
No way. No
Yeah,
way.
the whole solo, I think, is one take. I'm pretty sure it's one take, the whole solo, and that was like his third or fourth attempt.
I've seen Mello perform with you also. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
really have this, you can see that bonding together. You guys have. It's just really interesting.
It is. It is. And when was this song made? This was recently or again a while
Yeah,
back?
yeah. This is fairly recently. I think we had started working on Sobo Bonobo. Yeah, this was intended to be on the tape. This,
Okay.
along with Wonder Boy, were like the only songs that was like made for
Nice.
Sobo Bonobo.
Right.
Nice.
Uh,
So how has lockdown affected your music? Is one question I really wanted to ask you. If it's any way changed, any way
Yeah,
had
I've
influence?
gotten better samples thanks to all the Thali.
Thalis.
They honestly not much. Like you could have called me on 2nd January. This is how the whole environment would have looked. Maybe more musicians in there, but that's about it. Like
I
this is
guess
how
that's
it
the
is.
only thing missing, that not too many people are coming and going.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
for the
Otherwise, this
producer,
whole room
it's
would be
always
very
the room.
loud because most of the musicians I'm working with are under 16. So they're like especially enthusiastic and loud.
And most producers I know are usually always in lockdown. You know, inside the studio and just in it. Like gamers basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in their own world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it has its own pros and cons. Like you stay stuck too much into your own world, you don't know what's going on outside then.
Yeah, that's
You have to
true.
maintain a balance. I think Jharkhand is like the best place to maintain that balance because I've been for short terms, obviously, in different cities. But it's like, wow, bro, I couldn't make music in these cities. Like if I stayed here, I meet the musicians of these cities and I ask them, how do you do this? And it's crazy to me that like people in Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore can actually make music. I would have just panicked, like it's just too much to deal with the city. I mean, there's
Really?
so much good stuff about the city, but as a musician, not as a person, but like as a musician specifically, I feel like you
So this is
need
what a lot of Calcutta musicians also say about other cities.
Okay.
That
Calcutta is still on a very good spot. Calcutta is, I feel like it can look crowded, right? But it's still,
It's chill.
it's a
slow.
very weird place, Calcutta.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really match the hype of these other metro cities. Calcutta is like, it's got its own style, it's got its own charisma and its own pace,
A lot of my friends.
I mean, I can say that about Mumbai also to a certain extent, but we know, like, Mumbai also has its own pace. It's only when you stick to certain crowds that you can find those comfortable spots.
Yeah.
Bombay is like at like 8 times the pace of normal life. Like everything is on like, you know those movies that you have everything moving on fast forward. It's like that. I feel like that is a very good representation of.
I love it though. I love going to Bombay. I love but I need to get out of Bombay after the third day. Like that's how it is with every city. Like I love going there, but after the performance, it's like, okay, need to breathe some fresh air,
I remember, I think I remember watching you at the Reproduce set in Calcutta in Arijit's little.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the first time I saw you, and that was amazing. In fact, I was asking Somdev that time. I was like, "Who's this?"
Yeah, we went on a tour with Somdev and Angana. Do you know Angana by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah. So Angana, Somdev, and both of us, Melo and I, we went on a little tour with Reproduce. I think the Kolkata gig was part of that tour, actually. I'm not sure. But I think it was, I think that's where it started. Then we went to Banaras. We went to Banaras and then Ranchi. Banaras was also quite fun. Banaras, that was my first time. A lot of the times I'm visiting these places for the first time because of the gigs, So that's also like a really nice bonus that I get to see new places.
So how was the scene in Banaras and like as well as Ranchi? What is the scene like there?
Scene is pretty much the same as it was when we started. I mean, because of the Ranveer Singh movie. I don't know if it's Gully Bhai or Gully Boy.
Gully Boy.
I'm not sure. Gully Boy. Yeah. So because of that movie, like there's a new wave of artists coming. Of course, all of them are hip hop based, but there are these are more independent voices. Like it doesn't matter how you feel about the output, like you like the music or not, but like there's definitely a new wave of independence in the music, which I see lacked from the bands of Ranchi. The bands obviously are way better musicians than the rappers who are starting, because these rappers are like 18, 19-year-old guys who are like just starting out. Their first exposure to hip hop is the movie. Now they're starting out. But they still have more of an independent mindset than the bands that I worked with. The bands are just caught into this loop. It's like they're in 1994 still. There's so much of technology at our fingertips, right? But nobody takes the advantage, right? Nobody's like trying. Like that's why I was like out of these musician circles in Ranchi, like I think like 4-5 years ago. Like already the music that I wanted to make was different from others, but even in thought processes about how to go about doing this, there were like a lot of conflicts arising, like I see Melo sees something on Facebook, that something is happening in Kolkata. He's like, okay, we need to go for this. And something happened at his day job and he couldn't work it out. So he was like, okay, can you go and maybe see how this scene is? And that's when I went to Vedic Village, and that's where I met Nishit. And 4 years later, I'm doing an EP with Nishit. Right. So it's like everything has to have an agenda for most artists. Like if I'm walking into this room, I have to gain something. Otherwise, I'm not entering this room. Right. But like that, I didn't think I'm making Sobo Bonumbo while I'm visiting Vedic Village, right? That was like a fun little getaway, because again, it was like having a vacation, but it's all like-minded people, like everything is very curated. So that was like one of my first experiences, being around so many different musicians. That like really made me understand a lot of stuff. Plus, understand what Kolkata artists feel, metro artists feel. And, like they have all these resources and they are still mad about a lot of things. They're still unhappy with a lot of things. It's like, okay, so these things are not what I need for my music. These guys have those things sorted. These guys have those resources. They're still angry. They're still yelling at each other. You know what? I have my shit sorted here. Let me just focus on the music. And well, again, like I was talking to you, it's all about the energies, right? So I like focused all my attention to catching these energies. Like if there's an idea in my head, I need to jot it down immediately. Because if I go chasing for a band member, for equipment, for an engineer, then it's just a never-ending saga, the toolbox fallacy, like I was mentioning to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then it'll come
And
back
that's
to
what these things really taught me, meeting different musicians.
I think you've actually hit the nail in there. It's something even I believe, that you just do things because you personally either you like it, you believe in it, and then not always have like expectation, oh, I will get this from this thing. I really love doing this. I am going maybe to meet some cool people and hang out. Maybe that's it. And you never know what really comes out of it. When you overthink something, that's where you are just like pushing yourself back, all the time.
Oh man, especially if the artist is actually good, once you've put in 3 years just learning, that's when the overthinking goes into top gear. I've been dealing with so many great artists this year. Like last year, I'm a fan of these guys. This year, I'm producing a lot of stuff for these guys.
Damn.
And I'm like talking to these guys, right? And they are like panicking about every little thing. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to explain it to them. Dude, you don't need to panic. You're like one of the best voices in the country right now. What are you panicking about? It's like, let the producer do his job. Like, and that's when you understand, okay, no matter how much we learn, it's like, I think the overthinking bit just keeps on multiplying. The more we learn, the more we panic. So that was like a good cautionary thing for me. I don't really panic with music.
Yeah.
Like now producers hit me up about how to make beats, and I was like, just give yourself 20 minutes, That's like my new rule that I've been doing for like a year now, I think. Give yourself 20 minutes. You can't come up with a beat in 20 minutes. Just move on, Like make a new beat, open up a new project, or go take a walk, exercise, do whatever you want to do. Go watch some movies. Literally don't overthink this shit, because it's like that again, you'll never stop doing it because we'll just form the habit, right, of overthinking, of panicking.
Yeah, and it keeps adding. No, it's like a layer on layer on layer.
Yeah.
Going deep into that.
I think that one day I'll stop panicking.
Yeah.
But that day isn't gonna come because now it's part of your personality to panic because you've done it so many times.
That's right.
It becomes an OCD, no?
Yeah.
Almost becomes obsessive compulsive. You can't control it. It just takes over everything.
Yeah.
And like it can be any habit. Like, for instance, I was freaking out because the lines of my bedsheet were not parallel today in my bed. And then I had to stop myself because I was like, if I'm going to freak out about stripes on my bedsheet, I'm going to lose my mind. So
see, but that's the type of attention that's helpful if you're an engineer, Like as an engineer, you are in a constant state of panic. I feel like that's where the artist needs to be in the zone. The artist is doing all the hunting and the gathering. It's like you give me whatever best you can, and the engineer has to deal with all the headaches and the sleepless nights and the panic attacks. Because again, I was never really good at maths when I was in school, and I never really knew maths is going to be helpful in making music. And that's been like such a slap in the face, because I was like, finally, I'm making music. There is no way I'm gonna rely on maths. I'm sorted. I don't need to look for a job where accounting is involved by. So I'm sorted in this aspect. That's what I'm thinking when I'm just a rapper and producer. Once I start getting into engineering, okay, it's all about numbers. It's got a little to do with the vibe and energies. Everything is. But again, if you understand the numbers well, then catching the energy becomes a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this 20-minute rule thing, I have to say. It's really interesting. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
in fact, there was another video I was watching yesterday because I was feeling particularly unproductive. And I was watching a video about how to sort out your life on YouTube. Like all these videos that they have, these bloggers have.
That's how you
And the
do
woman-
it. You look it up on
woman
YouTube.
yeah. She said, like, make a 20-minute rule for everything. Just put your phone on a 20-minute timer. If shit happens in 20 minutes, it's done, it's awesome. Otherwise, move on.
Yeah. That actually works though, because the Wonder Boy thing. I think I made Wonder Boy at like 2:30 a.m. in the night, and that's when like I was like Sobo had I think 3-4 songs, but I was like, there's no lead single. I need a lead single. I need something that really like encapsulates everything about the EP. Like there's gonna be a lot of music, like the flute and the piano section. The flute is playing in an Eastern rhythm while the keys are playing in playing some jazzy chords, while the crux of the beat is a big bass kick and snare. So it's like I needed a track like that. I had these ideas in my head, but I was like, I need a track. And the same night I made 8 beats, and all of those went to recycle bin in 20 minutes. Like I didn't even save most of them. There are few that I saved that maybe they have some potential, but while I was done on my 9th beat, I just laid down that progression that the song starts with, da, da, all that stuff. And it was like something was very off about that because they were not on the time, like the timing of the Wonder Boy. And I was like, okay, this sounds off, but I'll come back to this in the morning because this little chord progression sounds better than all the beats that I just made, even though it doesn't sound exactly right. So that was like another challenge working on Wonder Boy, because when you listen to it, you can't really tell, but it's offbeat at a lot of places. But the bass is such a driving force in the song, and the bass is on time, obviously, all the time, that it doesn't really let you pay attention to the other offbeat stuff. And again, that's a thing that I really like to do, even though nobody else is going to notice it. It's something that I have fun with. This is my thing. You know what I mean? Like that's in the song that only I know.
Even if you don't consciously notice this, it will definitely play when you're listening to it properly. It will do something to you emotionally.
Yeah.
It has to. I mean,
like if I send you a version of Wonder Boy with everything set to time, everything hitting where it's supposed to, the drummer is on time, the keyboardist is on time, you probably wouldn't like the song.
Yeah, probably, exactly. Yeah. For sure.
It's those little, people call it imperfections, I'll call it like differences in the tune, right? Like there's these little minute gaps that you leave that create that space for the song to grow.
Yeah.
Like
again, like I said, it's about the energy, right? That's the energy that I was feeling. So I just like did my best imitation of the energy. I'm just like copying shit. Nothing I make is original, right? A lot of debate goes on about this sampling and original. I don't think we've made original music in like last 50 years. Like that's where I can't quite recall if it was BB King or no, it was Quincy Jones who said this. Like there are only 12 notes, and those guys in 1950s have played them all. Like there's nothing that, no matter how much you think that you made this tune, somebody has done this. Is that it's probably not popular, it's probably in a different scale, it's probably got a different BPM, but it's all done. So it's like
there's this great book called Feel Like an Artist. It talks about the whole idea of originality and it not being it's not practical. It's not possible. Plausible.
Yeah. Again, it's that stage where you'll just end up making things harder for yourself if you.
In fact, yeah, a lot of musicians actually get stuck in this original music.
Yeah. And they have all the talent, they know all the
Yeah.
theories and everything, and they have 0 albums out on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Plus, like I've seen with some
At the end.
musicians, like they'll play the same chords, and the lyrics will be what they've written new.
Yeah.
And that becomes a new song. And then another song, which is again using maybe another set of 3 chords and another set of lyrics, and it becomes a new song. Which for me, I mean, this is again my personal taste on this, that I don't find that exciting.
Yeah.
For me, that, just the lyrics being original, and again, lyrics, how original can you get with lyrics also? I think most stories have been told,
Yeah.
you just package it through your experiences and through your environment and all that. So I think the push towards original has to be, I mean, if you're labeling it original, has to be about everything. I find a lot of the cover music sometimes, just they've really completely demolished it and made something new. So exciting, and that really hits you. Oh, I mean, this is like so fresh. So I think people really need to change the definition also of what original is. That's what
I mean, people can do whatever they want,
Exactly.
Let them do whatever they want, but the artists, like, please don't panic based on what people are saying. At the end, the people are not in the studios, the fans are not in the studio, the audience, the critics, nobody else is like sitting on the keyboard. It's only you.
Yeah.
So do whatever, releases that little bit of dopamine up there. It's like the whole fucking country is going down, bro. You're like, why are you worried about your chord progression? Like, just make this stuff and like release it, bro. Like, you don't know if you'll have your connection next year. Just do it. You have the resources right now. Just do it. Like, I'm sure we all must have had like really elaborate travel plans and all that, right, till March. And now we are all stuck at home. Maybe you had gym memberships that you were planning to finally go to, but it's like, it's done now.
Not me.
But
yeah, it's
true. It is.
Yeah.
Should we play a song on that note?
Yeah, let's play a song.
Let's play. What should we do next?
I think only Druk is left, right?
Yeah.
Druk is left.
So we'll complete the EP.
We'll do this, and then this one. I would have had no objection to that song being a couple of minutes longer.
I was the same thing.
I was like,
Let's
go on.
extend this.
Yeah, let's go a little bit. Come on, let's do it.
Like a tease.
Yeah.
And when I was listening to the song, I could almost like picture like this cute little Buddhist monk getting ready and to wear his robes to go to work, like just putting on his headphones and jamming to
Yeah.
this,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
getting ready to go to the temple,
think-
to the monastery.
I think a lot of the chords, I think this is when I was like starting to get into like or like trying to learn Japanese style of phrasing and Japanese chord progressions. So there was just one chord progression that I was able to do, and like proper authentic Japanese. I'm forgetting what they call it. There's a term for it. They don't in Japan. They don't call it Japanese style. They have so you
Oh
know.
shit! No, you did it.
So and
Like
and
Iceland.
I wanted it to sound Eastern, but obviously like with a lot of bass. Like bass is like my favorite thing. If you can't already tell.
Yeah.
So and it's like I had this little sample from a temple that I recorded, and I had some samples just from like different places that I was at. I was just like throwing those in there, and suddenly I had a pattern. And I think that's about it. The prepping for the beat took a lot of days, but once all the ingredients were there, I don't think it took me like more than an hour or two. I think that's why it's so short. It was just like one and done, and then I never really revisited it till we had to make the EP.
So you
But
never had the urge to make it like a
No, the idea was to keep it short because there was going to be a long verse on it. Like it was supposed to be like an interlude or intro to an album,
okay.
So the rapper does a long verse without any chorus, without hooks. It was just sort of like either the interlude or the intro to the album. But that never materialized.
Right.
But having a short, crisp song also has a really good advantage because people want more. Like,
Yeah.
like you're saying,
Yeah.
So when you're done with the song, you're just like, okay, I got to listen to it again. Come on, let's go again and
Yeah,
again.
that's a real thing. That's very real, Like a lot of artists like intentionally do that too. But I think I don't really like making long songs anymore. Like Open Wide is like one of those songs where I like had to keep it that long. Like there was a purpose. Otherwise, I like keeping stuff under 3 minutes because like we know every generation the audience's like attention span gets reduced a bit. Now we are in the TikTok generation.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't impress the listener in 7 seconds, then you're gone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not making 15-second songs right now, maybe, but like 2.5 minutes is like a good range for me, like enough for me to come and like do my thing and then bounce.
So at this pace, like if it's songs and the attention span is getting shorter, then songs will get shorter. And like you were saying, then there'll be 15-second songs also.
Yeah. The VH1 thing that we were supposed to do, that was also like supposed to be a sort of like a 15-second song, right?
Which one? Sorry?
The VH1 thing that was like happening a few days back.
Right.
So that was the idea, like say all the stuff that you would have said in a song, but in like 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Like a tweet version of the whole. It's like if you have to tweet.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
That's how it would be, and that's not possible.
Yeah.
But this is the problem because it's a journey, right? Your every song is a journey. How do you just cut it to beginning and ending and then just stitch it together? But I suppose it's all cyclical. At some point, it'll become shorter, then everyone get bored of that, and then they'll want longer.
Yeah. It's all
There'll be a reverse
trends,
trend.
It's like if you wanna follow the trends, then you can. But for me, that's like another thing to pay attention to. So I don't really do that because it's like work again. Paying attention to trends is like, I mean, if you're not paying attention to trends wholeheartedly, then you'll get nowhere. You're not doing indie stuff that you want to do. You're not following the trends properly. It's just like if you really want to follow the trends, follow them like wholeheartedly, And it's just too much for me. Like I don't want to get into that stuff. And most of the shit that trends, anyways, I don't like it. It's like there's no purpose in it.
But I have to say, you are naturally on trend. You are making music at a time when everybody's listening to this music, which is fantastic.
I hope so.
And that's fantastic. But like,
I hope so, man.
So it's not like a dedicated, it's not like a thought out plan or anything like that. It just
comes naturally. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
No.
Beautiful.
Like, it should be like that also.
No matter how much like I love music, no matter how much like I would like to reach more people, like the number one thing has to be for me mental health at all times. because like it's like the reason I got into this was solely to manage my anxiety and depression and all these sort of things. I can't like lose focus of that just because I'm not in that same moment that I was in back then, you know? So it's like I have to stick to the basics. Things are very simple, and I think we tend to like complicate them, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
So I like to keep things simple. This is still my coping mechanism. Like any day I'm feeling messed up about certain things in certain different areas, then I just come and have a little meditation here, you know, with like really loud bass sounds. And then I'm done, and I'm like, I walk out of the room happy. And it's like, okay,
Right.
that feeling is what I need to chase, you know? Like I've had some, like there have been some times where like few acts have approached me, which would have made for like studio probably would have been upgraded if I collaborated at that point of time. But it was like the vibe just wasn't fitting in, and I was like having to do it. It's like an assignment, someone else gave it to you, you know. I need a song like this, which I like doing it. I like doing it, but it's like there needs to be a balance, you know, like, and the priority again always has to be mental health. The music is not the priority. The music is the thing that's helping me maintain sanity, you know. But yeah.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I
it's
think that's great that, because I think most people are chasing those likes and numbers, and it really makes you anxious. And then, like, it's actually been going on this whole debate about how people are spending so much just to get likes and this and that. And there's no
Yeah.
end to it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can just keep going on and on and on. Where do you stop? Where do you say, okay, this is enough? And once
That's
you
what you
enter
don't,
that
right?
space, you
Once you
don't.
get into that, you have an appetite for it. You have an
Exactly.
appetite for 10K likes, and then you have an appetite for 20K likes. And that just,
Exactly.
it's never ending. Yeah,
Never ending.
you're just doing harm to your own self, you know? It's like, and it's self-inflicted too. A lot of people will blame it on society, right? They'll write big essays about how the world is in such a way. Yeah, the world is in such a way, but guess what? The world has always been toxic. Like we
Yeah.
were murdering kings and we were surrounding kings and murdering them in the night, you know, and that was like 12 years after Christ, apparently. And people have always been toxic. Toxicity is not a new thing. It's
Yeah.
like how you deal with it, how you manage the toxicity in your own space, rather than trying to fix the whole world, you know.
Yeah.
And also, as you start chasing something big, you're right, you start somehow or the other, the more people, like if you, I feel like the more people you have that surround you, that are involved in your work, in your process, the more chances there are of toxicity sort of kind of seeping in. Right? Fewer people, fewer, lesser toxicity. More people, more toxicity. You know, it's bound to happen just based on numbers, you know, just on a number game basis. And
Exactly.
if you can reach your creative ambition and still be real, be good, you know, not change as a human being and continue on your path, I think you'll have a stronger growth curve as well as artistic journey, I think.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
And you're more
Definitely.
stable. Yeah. You get comfortable with yourself. You know, all those things really, really make a huge difference in your life. I think. And I think, like, again, it's energy, right? So the kind of energy you put out, you start getting that kind of stuff, you know? And it's happened to me so many times, like with even
Yeah,
like an
I
idea.
used to think this was such a bullshit thing that
Yeah.
other people just say it.
Yeah.
I used to be so mad at people who used to say stuff like that. I'm like, किधर मिलता है ये energy?
Exactly.
I used to be so mad at this stuff, but it's like it's real. Like,
It is.
but that's what I was saying, right? A lot of things are simple. It's just that we convince ourselves that it can't be that simple. Nahi to I would have done it already, you know.
Yeah.
But it is like we know the answers already. The answers haven't changed for like 100, 200 years, right? But it's like we just think, nah, it can't be that simple. There has to be something mystic about this, right?
Yeah.
About like finding your own sound, like
Yeah.
probably meet some sage in some forest, you know, like you're all isolated, and then you get the secret. Okay, you drink this and you become an original artist, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people will, and not just in terms of like artists and the music, but a lot of people will think in these terms in their own careers, be it like a corporate career or anything. Like it's like just to get to the next space, rather than just focusing on what we already have. And maybe this will progress, and most of the time it does progress, because nobody just stays stagnant if they are doing a great job at what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is true.
100%.
That is true.
Wow,
So,
this turned out to be quite nice.
Nah?
Yeah.
True. So we thought we'd also play some of the music that has influenced you. So artists that have played a role in.
I mean, it's a lot, man. I have no idea. Like, can you guys tell me what type of stuff you would want to hear, so I could like recommend accordingly?
So actually, I think something local maybe, or which has really, helped you shape your music, or you've just liked it. And
any artist you love, anything.
Okay, you want me to suggest an Indian artist?
Indian. Yeah.
Okay, Indian. Okay, let's see. Okay, my favorite Indian act is probably Golly Bhai. So yeah, anything by them is like golden. Have you guys heard of them though?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's why I was getting confused about the Gully Boy, Gully Bhai thing, because I know Golly Bhai. I'm more familiar with these.
I need to know this Golly Bhai.
How do I find Golly Bhai?
Where will it be? On YouTube?
Everywhere. I think it's spelled Gaueley. Let me just check the spelling real quick.
I think so. I might have. 1 second. I'm going to just screen share and then you tell me if I've got it.
Yeah, it's Gauley.
Gauley. Right?
Yeah.
So which one should we play? This sounds interesting. Talo
The third one. The third one with the red background. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
More out.
I hope I've clicked on audio. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to do this again in case I missed computer audio.
Yeah.
These guys are based in Bangalore, but I think they are from Kalimpong.
Okay.
West Bengal.
Oh, hey!
Yeah.
That's my nani body.
Yeah.
I have to go there and ask my cousin sister, do you know these people? Come on. Because it's a small town, right? Everyone knows everyone. It's those places where the grandparents have probably chilled together, parents have chilled.
Everyone knows everyone.
Everyone. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to play this.
अनि सय पिरमा बसी आलुदम खाँदैछन् कर्मको खेला अपटी छ लीला किनारको ढुङ्गामा बाबु आँखा मुर्दा जपारी कपालै छिल्दैछ गाउँ घरमा रमिता ओरौको बेला कुनामा न्युरी दिदी बहिनीको माइती घटी भनेर नतेछन् साथी भाइ सँगै बसी एक्लै रुँदैछन् मोरौको बेला बाटोको छेउमा गाडीमा भारी मानिसले दुखै मानी विचारै भन्दैछन् खोलाको पानी बग्दैछ ओराली नानीको खरानी वाक्लेको सपनी खल्लो सत्य छातीमा हाकी दाजुले सेलाउँछन् गाउँ घरमा रमिता भाग्यको चरचा अन्जान चिना जाना छिमेकीले गफैमा भन्छन् के गर्नु आमै रोइ रान्छे सातौली शरीर उसको खाली के गर्नु आमै रोइ रान्छे सातौली शरीर उसको खाली के गर्नु आमै रोइ रान्छे सातौली शरीर उसको खाली के गर्नु आमै रोइ रान्छे सातौली शरीर उसको खाली खोलाको किनारमा साथी भाइ सँगै बसी मलामी जाँदैछन्
Wow. Great song. What a great video.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
I
That is just
was not expecting this at all. It was so good. So much. So it's dark and it's funny.
Yeah.
I picked up that word when he said aloo dum in it also.
Yeah. My little niece also picked that up, and after that, like, she was a big fan of the band. At first, she was like, "What is this? We don't understand anything." And then he says, "Aloo ka dum." Okay, we like it now.
Everyone loves aloo dum.
But these guys have been doing like some of the craziest thing. Like
It is.
I'd never heard an Indian act that like became my favorite instantly. Like these guys are one of those. I think when we discovered their album, I think we must have like played it in loop. The whole album, not like a song, but the whole album. And like we did a show at Siena in Kolkata, and that's when we were like fairly new with this band, and two of our friends had also joined us on that trip for the gig, and they were just bored out of their mind because Mello and I were only playing this band. Anything else. A lot of things also like a lot of ideas that we were planning to do on Mello's solo album, like Mello's own project. A lot of the things that we were ideating, these guys had already done. So it was like, wow, what the hell am I doing? Like we were thinking we were gonna be one of the first acts here to bring a certain sounds. But these guys did all of that, and these guys did it in a way better way than what we probably could have done.
And it's great that they're singing in Nepali and you're still able, even though you don't understand all the lyrics, and you can still vibe with the song, you can still get the feel, you can still tell that there's magic happening there. There's magic happening.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And the video just does that, you just like, there's like that thing that there's a dead person and people are just going crazy. You're like,
Yeah, that's what Moru is, Moru is the dead body. So it's like Moru ka
Mela.
Bela. Oreko Bela.
like celebrating death.
Time of
But
death.
the song is so cheerful, it's like,
Yeah.
it's so cheerful, but it's like about such a thing where like, it's like finding joy in that situation.
Crazy.
And I got the drinking and the chilling scene. It's like so normal. It's like it's what happens in California all the time. It's one of those things that it's just a hill thing. We love our dance.
They have
We love
great,
our time.
I don't remember who worked on their videos, but like again, the visual team is also as good as the band.
Brilliant.
And it's just about crisp storytelling, right? You
Yeah.
you have one good story, and then you don't need fancy tricks. You don't need to have.
You need fancy tricks when you don't have a story to tell. That's when you need the smoke bombs and the lighting and the editing with the basketball going around the rapper and all that stuff, like because the director doesn't have a story. So it's like, okay, let's just do whatever looks good stylistically.
Yeah.
So recently, I've been listening to a lot of Tushar is there on Facebook. He's going to scoff at me because I've been forcing him to listen, but he won't listen to me. I've been listening to a lot of G-Eazy, okay? And his old stuff is like, oh, terrible. Like, oh, can you just not do this? It's all like bitches and hoes and I'ma get her, all the crap that they sing, which is just...
Yeah.
I grew up on hip hop, and then obviously I stopped listening to it after a point where I was like, this is too sexist. I mean, if you're going to be so derogatory about my gender, there's no place for you in my life. Let's be honest. So then I kind of went off it. And so I didn't know who he was until I discovered him 2 nights ago with his new album called Something Strange Here, I think, his new album. And you should check it out because, again, he's gone from a rapper to, and he's got like this rock vibe and indie vibe and like slow, mellow songs, and he's got a whole bunch of things going on. And it's just nice to see that progression. And I think that vibe, when you're able to take, like he had all his earlier videos had all these fancy clothes and the jewels and, the usual shiznit that's involved. Now if you see his videos, it's just, his recent video is just him singing into the camera and the camera angles change and there's some hands coming in. And I was like, you got a great song. You don't need fanciness. If you have this awesome song going on for you.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I love that it's a Nepali song. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There's so much talent there, which I have not discovered. So I'm so happy you introduced me to a new artist.
I'm going to listen to these guys. Definitely. I think there is something going on there that must. So maybe we play one more song and then we can close it for today. What do you think?
Sure. You guys can take the pick on this one.
No, today it's all you.
It's you.
Okay.
It's all you.
Okay.
I think people have got bored of our suggestions, so we want.
Unless you want to watch a horror short story, which I'll do a short story. I did that last episode. I just snuck it in. I didn't tell Nishit about it. And when he was supposed to play song, I was like, I'm a horror short film. Come on, guys. Watch with me. So that was it. But if you have, tell me. I'll play whatever you want us to play.
I don't know. I mean, see, it's like I have shitload of suggestions, right? But whenever someone asks me for suggestion, I'm like blank. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, play koi
Happens to
movie.
me also.
I don't know.
It is true.
You could play Lafafa maybe. I think TNS has had a new album, right? Have you guys heard the new tape?
Which
No.
one?
TNS?
Mhm.
Or you haven't heard of TNS at all?
Mhm.
Okay,
I have.
then. Okay, then you should definitely look up TNS then. I think he has
Oh.
a new video out too.
On YouTube?
I think so.
You
I'm
get,
not
to, you get to see my cardio burner right in front. I could like have a blank YouTube account to use for all of this stuff. With no cardio and this girl standing like this. Fantastic. PNS? Is it the one?
Good inspiration.
Okay, yeah. You can check out 18th December. I think that's, yeah. 18th December by TNS.
Ah.
Yeah, first one.
GNS.
Ah.
That's what I think you guys must have heard of him, yeah?
Yes. But I heard PNS, like
Okay.
potato, starting with potato, nose, stomach. I don't know. I thought of it. Those three random letters, but let's play.
Ooh. Okay.
Always a good sign, huh? When you
Because
see
if you
that at
keep
the
doing this, you're not going to last long, and it's not going to be pretty, all right? And if you die tomorrow, you're going to be lucky, okay? So you better stop doing what you're doing and leave it alone. You don't understand that you're surrounded. You don't even know what you're talking about, all right? If you do this anymore, do you want the Sun Beats to start getting worse? Do you want to have to go visit the doctor pretty soon and find out what he has to say if you don't shut the fuck up?
Let me welcome you all to the mind of a giant formalized with the minds and the signs of an alien force contort the rings of Saturn in a pattern not even gods can define. I'm applying the kind of work that'll make Steve Jobs take the leave off the same tree the snake deceived Eon and told her about the apple for which she got ganged. All I'm saying is I'm fired with the appliances. What the hell are you gonna do to me? Ain't no foolery. Fan, I'm dropping jewelry. Soon to be the next you drop bars or drop brewery. Been this way since before I hit puberty. Your shit ain't new to me. If you get the notion, my head's bigger than the ocean. My capsize get capsized. Any boat that you motherfuckers be floating on, better come and notice the flow. Oak involving it low. That's the slogan. Be smoking up, poking the fun at you jokers. Holding a gun at your loafers, and that's who you bow down to. Bitch, I'm a myth, I'm a legend, I'm the king, I'm the president, I'm the victim and the weapon. But how can Bob step in a limousine? How can he grow with people who have learned to kill their dreams? How can he come from nothing and ask for everything? Cause all I have's doubt. Black clouds, that frowns my head, I gotta act now. Wish my parents understood what I rap about. But wait a minute, I'm on your back now. Better be coming a rib and a flip and a half. Taking a moment and then I'll be coming a blast. Head up, be muddled, better be coming to spit it a bit on my eye. To the stuttering that. I want the cars, I want the jets, I want the grips, I want the clothes, I want the hoes, I want the drugs, I want the money, I want the Grammy, I want everything that you don't wanna hand me. I want news till you wanna hang me. I want you, I want him, I want her, I want them, I want everybody, I want love, I want hate, so bad I want that. Should I do what I want? Should I do what they want me to do? Should I do what I want? I do what I want? Should I do what I shut up? Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Hey, Kadak. Kadak one.
Damn.
Kadak one. Kadak
Yeah.
one. Damn good. Damn nice. It's a really lovely video as well.
Yeah.
And so good. Her rap style, flow, words.
It's true. There was a slight DJ shadowish vibe also that I was getting in the beginning of the song, which I really enjoyed because I love DJ Shadow.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
the-
You're actually
not-
yeah.
not the-
I never caught that, but yeah. Yeah, now I see it now, yeah.
You know, that vibe from the 90s going back.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So it's been so good. Such a lovely episode.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks, man. This was really amazing. I think we spoke about music, we spoke about so many different things through music, and it was really interesting. No, really fun. Yeah.
True. So good. So good. It's really nice, and you've introduced us to some new amazing music. And I have to go stalk all these artists a little
Yeah,
more.
please do.
For
Please
sure.
do.
For sure.
Awesome.
ठीक है.
Cool then. So on that note, we shall say bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Chalo, guys.
soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Take care, you guys. Stay safe.
To
Don't buy into the anti-mask hype, yeah.
no way.
Chalo, I'll catch you guys later, yeah.
Bye.
Yes. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.